Welcome to the Flight Control Podcast. I'm your host, Oddball, joined always by my wingman, Lokke. What's up? How's it going, dude?
It's going good, just chilling. I'm excited to talk about what we got in store today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really good. Obviously, I'm really excited. This is our episode one. We just had the holidays. As you can see in my background, I got my Christmas lights up still. Um, got some sweet Star Wars Legos, got some cool stuff. You got me a sick energy sword that I need to hang up somewhere in the
True.
background. But I'll probably have to take it down once Luke starts getting a little bigger. I
Oh
don't want
yeah,
him to
yeah.
stab himself. It's pretty sharp. It's pretty sharp on the points.
It's a scary
Um,
weapon.
yeah. So how was your Christmas? Because I don't know if people know this, but we're brothers. We didn't spend the Christmas together because I moved out of state, so it was a little different.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was definitely a little different. It was a bummer, didn't get to hang out like normal, but we still had our celebrations and stuff, and it went pretty good. Got some cool presents and had a good time spending with the family.
Yeah. Do you like the Mandalorian blaster I got you?
Yeah, I got it right next to me right now. Could blast
It's
people.
pretty sick.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and then
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say yeah, and then also the Helldiver glow um wall
Little
mount
neon
thing.
sign.
Oh, yeah, neon sign. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that thing's pretty sweet. I can't find it on Amazon anymore. I think it got taken down for like copyright or something. I
Oh
don't think it
jeez.
was officially licensed. So
Yeah,
it's rare because I can't find it now.
got it in time. Yeah, true.
Yeah. It was like pretty affordable too. And I was like, I kind of want that. And I went to look and it's gone. So that's kind of a
Dang.
bummer. But yeah,
Yeah.
we've been playing a lot of Helldivers. Comment down below if you've been playing Helldivers because it's such a fun game. And
Oh yeah. Saving the planets. Serving democracy and yeah.
yeah, dealing with those illuminate, the squids.
True.
Yeah, but this is not a Helldivers podcast. That's a different podcast in the far future. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Today we are discussing our first entry into the Clone Wars series, starting with the Battle of Christophsis, which contains 2 episodes and, of course, the animated movie titled The Clone Wars. Let's kind of just jump into it. I know you took a bunch of notes, so tell me what you thought on season 2, episode 16, Cat and Mouse.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that first episode I was just like starting it. I actually just watched it yesterday, so it's really retained in my memory right now. And I I I really enjoyed it. It had introduced some interesting characters, kind of got the vibe, like pulled in and stuff. The first thing that I got on my notes is the secret weapon Obi-Wan brings in. He's like,
Oh
I
yeah,
got something, and it was the stealth cruiser. Yeah.
yeah, dude, that thing's sweet. And I've done a video on that, talking kind of about like ships that go invisible. And honestly, it's probably one of the coolest ones, other than the Sith infiltrator. Um, it's basically like a Star Wars submarine. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I was watching it with Taylor, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like a submarine," and it was totally right because everyone working together, how Anakin was operating it, it was pretty sweet. And then that intro into Admiral Trench, the spider dude.
Yeah. And what do you think of Admiral Yularen like immediately recognizing who Trench is and being
Oh
like, "Oh,
yeah,
we're in danger. Like this is a serious tactician. He knows how to run a defense. He knows how to run a fleet. We're kind of screwed." And then Anakin, this is early on in the Clone Wars, so Anakin's kind of he's developing a relationship with Yularen, who's his one of his officers.
yeah. Shout out, announcer or the
Yeah,
show
it's
starter.
the voice.
Um, but yeah, yeah, that definitely set the tone because he's like this Trench guy. He's pretty serious in the last battle we've been in. I thought it was pretty awesome. And then also hearing about how he's dealt with a stealth cruiser before or something like that's pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, exactly. And what makes the I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. I can't. Of course, if you check my videos, you'll be able to see what it's called. I think it's like the IPV or something like that. Anyways,
Sounds familiar.
it's small, and that's unusual for a lot of stealth craft.
Right. They
Yeah,
said that, and that's why he was able to, maneuver it pretty well. And then, then
yeah,
even Admiral Trench was able to learn from them missing the missiles and blaster shots and stuff, because he was just like, not a normal pilot would be able to dodge those.
yeah. He's got an interesting accent too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's no, yeah. He's like, there's no clone pilot that could have dodged all those that spread of lasers.
Hmm.
It's very true. It's very true. Blackout Squad's pretty cool. The clones that help operate
Oh,
that
yeah.
stealth cruiser.
So yeah, like I said, I was watching with Taylor. He said, "Oh, Spark," when one of the clones was introduced, and so I'm excited to see more of him. I guess he's a little more involved later on, or
I mean, I would say this is like pretty much the only time you see Blackout Squad,
oh
unfortunately. But I mean, keep track of all your favorites. That's kind of a fun thing about the Clone Wars is there's so many different clones, and yes, they're clones, but they're all like unique, and that's an important part of like the beginning seasons is like developing in our minds, like saying, hey, these clones that we initially believed to be all the same and kind of like you know carbon copies of each other, they're actually really unique and different. And in reality, that would be the case. That would be how clones are. Clones aren't like gonna have the same personalities. They're all gonna be different. So that's a fun thing about it. So yeah, Spark, keep him in mind. I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah,
We might see him later on.
cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to get it names and stuff for the clones, because yeah, we'll talk about it in the future time on this episode. But there's some cool stuff about clones. The
Oh
next
yeah.
thing I have is I think it was Trench who mentioned like the hyena bombers, like he sent them out. What they
Oh
were called
yeah.
hyenas, but aren't they technically vulture?
So that class of droids. So you have like the vulture droids, which are like the starfighter. They're meant for dogfighting and stuff like that. And we first saw those in Revenge of the Sith in the beginning when Anakin and Obi-Wan are assaulting the Invisible Hand. So vulture droids are a separate starfighter, like droid operated starfighter, whereas hyena bombers are specifically designed to be bombers. They're wider, they're bigger. Instead of having they have almost like it looks like two heads in the middle. Um, so they are different as opposed to the
Gotcha.
vulture droids. But yeah, they do look similar. They're in the same class, same manufacturer, everything like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Because yeah, I was curious um, the difference, but that's good to know. Just a little bit bigger and stuff.
Yeah, you'll see more hyena bombers throughout the Clone Wars. They're devastating.
Cool. Yeah, I also got a note where it says Anakin always on the offensive, and that's because there's like a little bit of banter between I think the clone Spark and the another one who says that's what you'll learn being under Anakin is that he's always on the offensive.
Oh yeah. I mean, the best defense is a good offense, right?
Yeah. And then finally, just I have this note. It's funny, written like this. It says Spider-Man talking smack to Anakin,
Yeah,
and he
right.
got too cocky, and now he's smoked. The
Oh
way
yeah,
the way
for
he took him
sure.
out was so good.
Right? He used the magnetic lock on those missiles just to
Yeah,
graze that bridge. Oh, that's
and
so good.
the crazy intelligence of the freaking Anakin and the Jedi just in general, just being
Yeah,
able to figure things out like that is like, oh, it's magnetic. That's how he figured it out last time. So let's use it
yeah.
against him.
And like being able to like trick him into like decloaking by firing the missiles, and then like knowing that he's gonna get locked onto and that the missile's gonna come in and that he'll be able to just like boom get him right there. And that
Yeah,
his
yeah,
shields, his like the thermal shields on the cruiser, like the dreadnought, that thing's not gonna be able to just turn on and off real easily. So he got him.
right.
He got him. Yeah, that was such a good moment because you just see Anakin's strategic genius. Like he's just one of those Jedi's that knows how to fight.
For sure. But also see the disobedience from Obi-Wan,
Oh yeah, not
pretty
very good at
hilarious.
listening to authority.
Yeah, yeah. But he
Yep.
gets karma for that, for sure.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, that was a
So
cat and mouse. Do you have anything else on that episode?
I think that's about it. I just like the kind of like the setting it had and the kind of like military,
Yeah.
battle tactics and stuff. I liked it.
Submarine warfare in space in Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, what
Pretty
could go
awesome.
wrong? The
Terrifying,
next,
but awesome.
yeah, yeah, terrifying but awesome. It was cool seeing. It's also cool seeing that the Separatists don't have just droids operating. They're like leading the command because obviously, you know, I feel like the clones and the other officers of the Republic fleet would easily walk over the CIS Navy if they were just droid operated everything. So having those like different tacticians, those different like aliens running the fleets is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So season 1, episode 16, Hidden Enemy was the next one on your watch list. Let me know your thoughts on that. Any notes you have? What's going on?
Oh yeah, so just starting off, it's well, you get to see two epic clones that I've heard of, Rex and Cody.
Iconic.
Yep, and they're both in the separate towers with Anakin uh, and Obi-Wan, and they're getting ready for this ambush, and then just completely flopped. Instead, they get ambushed,
Yeah.
and then again, quick thinking from Anakin. He goes over and supports Obi-Wan. Pretty awesome.
The zip
Uh,
line across and stuff.
yeah, yeah, the zip
Yeah,
lines.
pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
especially with the type of blasters that they have. They have that little hook or something. Is that made
Yeah.
specifically for doing that?
You're talking about that blaster with it's kind of it's
Yeah.
hard to describe. Yeah, yeah. No, that's actually so that folds out for like a shoulder stock.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
But I mean it doubles as a handle, doubles as being able to zip line with it.
Yeah, but then that leads to some this whole situation leads to inside infiltration, some clone traitor.
Yeah, investigation and which
Yeah,
is like crazy concept for like the clone army because again, they're all like brothers, they're all clones and there's a traitor amongst them and they're trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's fun, right?
so crazy. It's like what? I can't wrap my brain around why the clone would do it, but um
Well, I mean, what do you think of his logic when he does get captured? He's talking about how they're kind of like slaves to the
right.
Republic, to the Jedi, that they were only created for war. They don't really have a say in what their lives are. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely see some truth in that, of course, but I also see that that's not a way to fix it by by putting your brothers in danger, the people you're trying to save. Like, what
Yeah,
is that logic? But I do understand a little bit of his frustration, but the absolute loyalty from like Rex and Cody just shows some pretty and that investigation that they did was pretty great. I love
it,
how they were so like just commanding officers. Just
their dynamic is really fun, and you'll see it throughout the series, and it just makes you sad, like in the end when Order 66 happens and whatnot. So
oh shoot, yeah.
that's a long ways away. We're in the
Thankfully.
beginning. We're in the beginning arc here. So yeah, that was like the investigation side of things. Do you have any other comments on that, or do you want to talk about like the Obi-Wan and
Oh yeah.
Anakin?
Before we get to that, I do want to do a little more on the investigation because I thought it was pretty awesome when they finally figured it out that it was Slick and how dude, how bad must that hurt though to like learn that one of your brother in arms just absolute traitor. Like
Yeah, I know, right?
it's really rough to think about. But when they found him, it was pretty awesome. The footprint and he's in the vent and they just acted like they didn't see him
Put
and
the
stuff.
blaster down without a power cartridge in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just so it's so intuitive. It's so good. I love
Yeah,
it.
dude, they know what they're doing. Yeah, but yeah, for him to be like the sergeant of a squad or whatever, and then be
Yeah.
the one that's like betraying them, sabotaging. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty rough.
They even had a comment where they were just like, "Oh, Slick's not gonna like that he has a traitor in his group,"
I
but it's
know.
him and
He's the traitor.
I know it's just like, dang, that's crazy. I also have it written down that Slick has some Brazilian jiu-jitsu moves because I
Right?
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
no. I mean, they're all trained the same way, but again, like just different personalities, different like fighting. It makes clones different. That's why Rex and Cody stand out amongst all the other regular clones.
for sure. And am I wrong in thinking Rex markings on his helmet is like Mandalorian?
It is Mandalorian. Yes, those are
Nice.
they're called J guys, and they're a mark of high honor, of like kind of like the warrior spirit. Of course, like correct me if I'm wrong, audience, if you have the actual definition. But yeah, they're called J guys, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, he got that from a Mandalorian officer who trained the clones.
That is pretty awesome. I I like that a lot.
Yeah,
From having seen Mandalorian and stuff, I just kind of like I just love the whole situation.
yeah, it just kind of shows that Rex is just he's awesome.
He's
He's
different.
Yeah. Amongst besides, having like blonde hair,
Oh
when all the
yeah,
other clones have like black hair, he's got the freaking Jag eyes on his helmet. It's pretty sick.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. Going to the Anakin and Obi, I have it written down that they had some pretty good banter as they were on the what are those called again? When they were flying down the street?
I think it was bark speeders is what they're called.
Yeah,
They're like a reconnaissance Republic army. Pretty good.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some pretty good like banter and stuff as they were passing a bunch of droids and stuff. They're like, our enemy is growing, and he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty steadily.
Yeah. Obi-Wan and Anakin, they're just they're one of the most fun combos. I mean, we saw it all the way back in Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and then it continues on in the Clone Wars for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I actually guessed it because I was like, who are they going to meet? And then I was like, I know there's one name that sticks in my mind, and it's Ventress. I
Oh
forget
yeah,
the first name.
Asajj.
Asajj Ventress. She sucks. Let me just say that.
She's got an
uh,
interesting arc though. From just remember this beginning. She's got an
right.
interesting arc.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. I think it's crazy that she doesn't get just taken out by Obi-Wan and Anakin. Like
Yeah,
they're both they both could beat her in a 1v1 in my opinion.
yeah.
Obi-Wan for sure. I don't know about Anakin.
So, here's the thing about the dark side. Obviously it's not good. You don't want the dark side. It corrupts. It does damage to you over time. But the thing about the dark side is it's a quick way to power, and people like Asajj who have, you know, maybe less training than someone like Anakin and Obi-Wan, or have spent less time with the Force, they're going to be more powerful just because they have a stronger attunement with the Force because of that dark side. It's just like they're able to get juiced up. It's like working out for like 10 years versus like just taking steroids and then getting jacked, you know?
Right. There's just yeah, it's definitely a quick way. So it does
Yeah.
make sense that she's pretty strong, but I don't know. Just 2v1. I know Jedi have like, the code and stuff.
Hmm.
They don't want to break cuz I don't think they just go around slicing and dicing Sith, right? Or is that cool?
I mean, Obi-Wan did chop a Sith in half in episode 1 of Phantom
Yeah.
Menace.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I understand it when it happens, but I don't know if like their code like they're just taking people out left and right. Is that
So, I mean, one thing that is established in the movies is that Jedi don't kill unarmed combatants, unless
Oh,
unless like obviously they're threatened or the people around them are dying. They're not going to kill someone who's unarmed. And you'll see that in the Clone Wars too. There'll be comments made by certain villains and stuff like that. But I mean, like that's the whole thing with Anakin in episode 3 of Revenge of the Sith, like him not wanting to kill Dooku because he, disarmed him. He chopped his hands off and Dooku wasn't a threat anymore. And yet Palpatine was like, do it, and he killed him. And he felt wrong for doing that because he knew it wasn't the Jedi way. And then
right.
when later on in that movie, when Anakin sees Mace Windu about to kill Chancellor Palpatine, and Chancellor Palpatine's unarmed but still a threat, um, Mace is gonna kill him, and Anakin's like, "No, this is wrong. I experienced that. That was something that I regretted doing." So it kind of leads into him eventually attacking Mace Windu, but that's a whole nother thing.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
they don't just walk around slicing and dicing people. Asajj, though, she is someone that, is a serious threat. They'd want to arrest her if they could, but, if they have to kill her in combat, they can. But she always runs away. I mean, that's the thing. Her
That's
and
true.
Grievous and, like, Dooku, they always run away. They always get away despite uh, their situation.
Yeah, except this time she had a whole army and they were a little freaked out, and so they got an escape on a little, little scooter or something, right?
Oh, yeah, they had to get out of there. Get out of
Yeah,
that situation for sure. Once
which
they,
I was
she,
pretty good.
yeah, that was a pretty cool scene for sure. Um, any other notes or thoughts on this episode?
Oh yeah, just seeing like the whole army is pretty cool. Like the walkers or like the yeah, I think you got the Lego behind you of that
I
of one of the
do.
things.
Ah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
see
you can kind
walking
of see it.
around.
It's
Yeah,
next to my invisible hand over there. But that's
nice.
the. Oh man, I just talked about it because I've been doing a lot of CIS stuff, but it's a pretty serious walker for the droid army.
Right. But yeah, I think that's about it for that episode.
Yeah, and what's cool about that episode is like it leads to, Slick obviously destroys like all their tanks. He destroys all the ATTEs
Oh
and
yeah.
everything. All that's left is the artillery, and that leads into the movie kind of perfectly. So
Right.
yeah, let's jump into it because obviously this is a lot more happens, and there's a lot more character introductions and things like that, and you get to see a lot more of just the Clone Wars in general. So yeah, tell me what you think of the movie and your notes on it. What's going on?
Yeah. So start of the movie is they have that like little action sequence, across like this street or roadway or whatever. The tanks coming in and that one Scottish alien dude. I like him.
Oh yeah, get
Uh,
me something liquidy.
yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good tactics between them and stuff.
Hmm.
And I can't quite remember what happens, but they end up retreating. They just get beat by the artillery. They just hold that
Yeah.
point so well and stuff. And
Yeah. It just
yeah,
completely destroys them. Yeah. But
do you know what the artillery is called? Does it have a name?
I don't. But I also there's like a little battle pack you can buy of like some clone troopers, some like 504 first clone troopers, and they come with a little artillery model like that. It's pretty strong artillery, pretty epic.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah.
I
Oh, that was
think.
another question.
Oh what?
Um, uh, so the Rex is part of the 501st, right?
That is correct.
And now what is Cody? Is Cody also?
So Cody's a part of the 212th Attack Battalion, whereas Rex is a captain in the 501st. So the 501st is led by Anakin, whereas the 212th is led by Obi-Wan. So you see those
Mm,
two units work side by side a lot because Anakin and Obi-Wan are pretty often working side by side.
gotcha. Okay, that explains
They'll
a lot.
support
Yeah.
each other. The attack battalion, the 212th, is known for uh, being like full frontal assault, uh, siege breakers, things like that. They're like really strong in that sense. Whereas the 501st Legion is very unconventional, and they're known for doing things a little differently. But they also have like one of the highest success rates in all
Okay,
of
so
the legions.
they just kind of magnify the the both the personalities that
Yeah,
they
exactly.
are led
Of
by.
their
That's
of
cool.
their generals.
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. And then the big meeting, Ahsoka pops in.
Yeah. What is to believe to be Obi-Wan's new Padawan
Yeah,
turned
which
out to be Anakin's.
I
Kind
did
of
not know
crazy.
that. Yeah, I was just like, wait. When I first saw Ahsoka, it was like, oh yeah, it's my new Padawan, or Obi Wan was saying, and then it changed, and I was like, wait, how does that work then? How does Anakin end up being the master? But then it all
Yeah.
makes sense now.
Her
Uh,
comment of like, no, Master Yoda specifically said him for Anakin. Huge retcon when the movie came out, and I know it ruffled a lot of like OGs, OT trilogy fanboys feathers. People are like, wait, how? So Anakin didn't have a Padawan, all this like stuff. But and I will say that Ahsoka, she wasn't everybody's favorite in the beginning, but I mean she's one of the most popular characters now. So yeah, what
yeah.
what were your initial thoughts of her?
I thought, I mean, it's super funny. I just see it as like karma for Anakin, you know, like having to train himself. Basically, they resemble each other so much. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, she's like she's hard-headed, she questions everything. Uh she rushes into fighting and stuff. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
yeah, and she's pretty like for like I mean, everyone calls her a youngling because she seems so young, but she's pretty dang powerful, you know.
Yeah, and she is that's one of the things about the Clone Wars is it caused a lot of younglings, excuse me. It caused a lot of like younglings to be promoted to Padawans and to be sent into like warfare early on, whereas opposed they would have trained longer at the temple, then get assigned to a master and then go on assignment with that master because they're at a time of war and so many Jedi died at the Battle of Geonosis and Attack of the Clones. They had to rush a lot of things. You know, that's why Anakin he gets promoted to a Jedi Knight before a lot of people thought he was ready for that. You know, he gets Padawan pretty early. You know, his
Right.
Padawan's really young. Yeah,
Okay, that's interesting. I think that's
yeah.
Oh yeah, and then so next, just looking at my notes here real quick. Then plain, I said in my notes, plain Metal Gear Solid, in a box.
Yeah. In the box. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was pretty funny.
that
Just
was a
a
pretty
whole
good
army
section.
walking around them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how
Yeah.
terrifying! But then also the droids are so dumb. Just
Yeah,
don't
a
even think
plan
about
that
it.
shouldn't have worked, but Metal Gear
Yeah,
Solid logic, it did work.
exactly. And yeah,
That's
that.
funny.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. The energy shield that they had, pretty
Oh yeah,
intense.
yeah.
That's pretty. Like, is that used much throughout the series, or is that like?
You know, ray shields like that are expensive, and they take a lot of power to operate. I wouldn't say they're used very much. The Battle of Christophsis is one of those fights that goes on for like the majority of the Clone Wars. You know, that planet
Oh,
is just like constantly under threat and like warfare. Um, and it's a strategic point. They both sides want it, and they're fighting hard for it. I wouldn't say ray shields are used very often in that sort of way, because there are ways to get around that. If you got fighters to come in, things like that. If you have walkers, enemy walkers, things like that. But because it's like an urban environment, it kind of like works pretty well, considering they can just like walk down a highway.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that since like they have to. You don't see it much, but since it's an urban environment, I guess it works. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, totally.
Expensive too. Seeing
Expensive.
the big stuff being pulled out because
Yeah, for
they
sure.
just were not they were not doing good against just artillery. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. The artillery is just beating them apart. It's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
I was also curious. Just I was just a random note that I had. Do the artillery like plasma that it shoots? Is that does that have like mass to it? Because it like drops at a significant arc,
So, I mean, plasma does have mass to it.
but
It's,
like that much?
I, it's the, I guess it's the type of plasma that they're using. Whereas like,
Sure.
blasters use like a plasma bolt almost. That does have more of an arc to it, I guess. I don't
Right.
know.
I
It's
mean,
not
yeah,
necessarily just like a beam or like a bolt of it. It's more of like just
a hunk, a hunk.
it's
Yeah,
Star Wars. I don't
yeah.
know.
I know. It was
At
definitely
least
a
the planet has
nitpicking.
gravity, whereas like in the Last Jedi, the laser arcs don't really make sense because they're in
Oh
space.
shoot! All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that was just definitely a nitpicking note that does not matter much. I was just curious because I thought
yeah. I
it
mean,
just
if you look at like Halo, sometimes like the Covenant, look at the Wraith. The Wraith shoots a big ball of plasma, and it has an arc to it.
right.
So
That's true. That's true. It's just
yeah,
kind of how it works. It makes sense if it's like a huge hunk of plasma, if it's like so concentrated that it actually
yeah.
has hefty weight to it. It makes it that much more deadly.
Superheated liquid gas.
Yeah. So they get through Ahsoka and Anakin and then get the shields down. That was yeah, I was a bit upset at Ahsoka. I was like, what are you doing,
She just
man?
runs in there, turns on all those defensive droids.
Yeah, and then takes one robot out and like throws like the droid head and like hits all the other sensors. Oh
Yeah.
my
Doo, doo, doo,
gosh.
doo, doo.
And I
And
just feel so
Anakin's
bad for
like, oh
Anakin.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
funny.
and then she ends up like saving Anakin. I mean, Anakin probably had some up his sleeve, but pulling the
Yeah.
wall down and stuff was pretty impressive.
Totally. Yeah. Quick thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So,
It's cool to see their relationship early on, especially like they just met. you know.
yeah. And then instantly getting the nickname Snips because she's always snipping back.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
They'll
And
be
then
there all the way to the end.
I know that's pretty cool.
Iconic.
But yeah, getting the shield down, they end up heading back after they completely wiped the floor with them. Oh yeah, there was the Obi-Wan was just stalling with the the Scottish alien. I
Yeah.
don't know what
Right.
his name is. I think they
Yeah. I
said it
don't. You
once.
don't see that general after this. He gets
Yeah,
arrested for sure.
for sure. I mean, that was so funny. I don't know
yeah.
why. I know. It's against I guess in some sort of conventions or whatever to take down someone if they surrender. But
Yeah.
I just thought it was so funny. You just said, okay, I'll stop and have some tea with this guy, even though there's battle going on.
Yeah. I know, right?
It's like,
So,
oh,
a lot of people point that out there. Like, there's a lot of like war crimes being committed with like fake surrenders and stuff like that. But you're fighting a droid army. They're pretty inhumane and in and of themselves. Like they slaughter people. I mean, you saw that in the Mandalorian. You saw
oh
those
yeah,
battle droids just killing Mando's parents and stuff like that. So I don't know. A lot of people like to be like, "Oh, Anakin likes to fake surrender, and Obi-Wan pretended to surrender here, and like all this stuff." And it's like
oh my,
the thing
oh
is,
dang,
the Geneva Conventions and like our laws don't apply to a galaxy far, far away, and it's just a different world.
right, and especially with what they're dealing with, those
yeah,
masses of droids and stuff. That makes sense.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's cool to be a stickler like that. Like, come on now,
Yeah,
this is a sci-fi show.
yeah. Relax a little, okay? We're watching the Clone Wars. We're having fun here, and things
Yeah.
like that. It's good to have a
Uh,
little bit of logic. There should be some logic and some
oh
sense
yeah,
in storytelling, but there should be a level of disbelief that you can have when watching
right.
shows like this.
Which really pulls you into another world. And then heading back, they go and speak to Yoda. Yoda comes in and it's like, "Yo, what up, G?"
Yeah, it's the Grandmaster, the big GM.
Yeah, this is awesome. And then he's just speaking facts and talking with Obi-Wan about Anakin and saying Anakin is ready to be a master, but he needs to learn to let go of his pupil. And I'm like, dang,
Exactly.
this guy's wise.
Yeah,
Love him.
yeah. It's funny because like Anakin in Revenge of the Sith is just dying to become a Jedi Master because he wants, access to more knowledge and power and whatnot. And then in the Clone Wars, you see like he's given the steps to become a master if he can prove himself with his Padawan, and then you know gaining the trust of the Jedi Council and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, any other
that is
thoughts? Any
interesting.
final thoughts on the Clone Wars movie? Because I mean, that was the whole battle scene, of course.
Right. And then when they go over to Jabba, and I
Yeah.
have it written down. The first sentence of my notes for this part is Jabba is a good dad.
Question mark?
Yeah, I know. Making
Yeah.
sure his son gets saved. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
I
I
mean,
get that.
a little tidbit on Jabba's son, Stinky, or I don't know if he has an
How they
official
did it,
name
yeah.
yet. He will be. Apparently, he's going to be appearing in some future Star Wars projects. I believe the
Oh,
Mandalorian and
oh,
Grogu's movie.
jeez.
So
Okay.
the Stinky will return, and he's supposed to be voiced by the guy from The Bear. I can't think of his name right now,
Oh, interesting.
but yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
Jab
funny.
Jabba said had a name for his son, but I think it was like just a just a nickname or something. But it was pretty
Okay.
funny.
Yeah,
because then Obi-Wan would just like repeated laugh and that. But yeah, is that,
Oh, hey, you're cutting out there. What was that?
oh, I was just saying that that's what I got written down there, and then
Okay.
we got Ahsoka making clones laugh at Anakin,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, Jedi's are supposed to be humble. Come on now. And I was like, he would so do that to Obi-Wan. Come on.
I know. It's so funny. Just their dynamic.
Yeah. And then they end up finding the temple, right? It's the Bomark Monastery, is what
Yep.
Ahsoka said. So that's pretty cool. And then climbing the wall of it, like what a cool like dynamic.
Yeah, the all train enforcers, dude. The
Yeah.
ATTEs, they can go anywhere.
Oh, that's what they're called. I was trying to remember the AT-ETs.
ATTEs. So they're
Oh,
all
gotcha.
train tactical enforcers.
That's cool. Love that.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. They had a little race to get to the top. Ahsoka
Yeah,
and
dude.
Anakin. And
No,
then
yeah, it'd be so sketchy though, being in one of those walkers going up the wall.
oh my gosh, yeah,
Because at
imagine
one
just
point,
sitting.
like it like almost falls and then it goes back,
Oh, that's yeah.
and then
I would
someone do like get shot and fall.
I know,
Yeah.
dude. Oh man. That's
Well,
what always clicks in my memory is like, or just like really gets me is when you see like clones running into battle and just one of them gets shot boom in the head and then they keep going and they're just it's so that's what gets me with like war movies and stuff too. It's
oh
just
yeah,
it's
just
crazy.
you never know. Yeah, because in that
Hmm.
beginning battle of Christophsis, you have that one clone that's like, "Let's go," and then he immediately gets shot in
Boom.
the head, and
Yep.
everybody else just keeps going. Yeah, it's very like trench warfare a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
very serious. But yeah, climbing up that thing in the ATTEs that would make me have to change my diapers.
yeah. So you're wearing diapers now, huh?
if I'm there, man, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. What do you think of the before that? What do you think of the recon clones that scattered out
oh,
the
dude,
base?
yeah, I forgot about him. Actually, there was a problem with the subtitles. It said Rex when the person was speaking,
Oh
and I was
no,
like, "What the heck? What's that going?"
no, no, no.
But then I'm like, I knew it wasn't Rex because of the Battle of Christophsis was going on. But yeah, I loved them. I
Yeah,
really like their camo and like how good they must be to be able to find it.
yeah. So those are ARF clone troopers, Advanced
ARF.
Recon Force Scouts. Um, they're pretty awesome. That's probably the coolest helmet that the clone troopers have, in my opinion. I think that's the coolest looking helmet. And yeah,
I could
they're just
agree.
like experts at recon. They're experts at like covert missions and stuff like that, being on their own.
Yeah. Oh, and that's one thing. Um, I don't doubt that they're good, but they also probably it's probably an easy job since that's what the Sith plot was. They want them to
To be
take
experts, right?
yeah to take the no to take the stinky, so
Yeah,
then they could
exactly.
do the old switcheroo.
The old switcheroo there.
Yeah. Oh, there's also another note. I love like when they're having a talk or something, and you have clones in the background doing things. Like they could just be doing their normal job and stuff, but I've just been noticing that. They
Yeah,
just walk around, they do their job, they talk sometimes, and like sometimes there's like some funny gestures and stuff. It's
yeah.
pretty good.
What's cool is like it establishes like just that military atmosphere that these Jedi who are peacekeepers are being thrown into. They're generals now. They're leading legions and battalions of clone troopers, and the clones are the Grand Army of the Republic. They're fighting for the Republic, even though they were created on the orders of a Sith. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then so they get stinky, right?
Yep.
And then they start like piecing together the plots and stuff. Or not quite. They don't learn it yet. But there's a great line from Anakin to Ahsoka that wrote down because I thought it was just so good. It's like a wise Jedi once said, "Nothing happens by accident, but through the will of the Force." I thought this was
Mm,
pretty cool. It was such a
yeah.
basic quote, but I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I believe that's a Qui-Gon quote, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sounds like
Uh,
it. I'll have to be fact checked on that. Again, audience, if you know where that quote comes from, feel free to put it in the comments. But to me, it's giving It's giving that Qui-Gon energy, you know.
It does for sure. Oh, and then oh man, just another cool moment of just Jedi intelligence, especially from Anakin. Rex calling saying, "Anakin, we need you," and then he instantly picks that up because he's like, "No way he would say Anakin."
Oh
When
yeah, right,
Ventress did the mind trick and stuff,
dude. It's
did I already
good.
say screw Ventress?
Yeah, you hate her, dude. You hate her
Yeah,
through a lot of the
no,
Clone Wars.
she's a punk, but she's oh, just a little side fact. I recognize the voice. That's Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, is it? I didn't even
Yeah,
clock that at
I was
first.
like that evil, snarky voice. I know who that is.
That's funny. No, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot of popular voice actors that get used throughout this series.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty cool. Anakin, just the hyper intelligence, being able to know.
Oh yeah, like that's not Rex. That's not my captain.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have a note. Stinky is growing on me, pointing out the landing platform.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then instantly I caught right when I saw the clone. It was Oddball flying.
There
Yep.
he is.
Yep.
Of course he's flying with Obi-Wan. That's his the unit that he's assigned to, you know.
Exactly. But yeah, I was like, oh man, that's so oddball. And I was like, let's go. Right when he
Let's
said
go,
the
kids.
name.
Yeah. That's the name. That's the name.
Oh yeah, and I was trying to remember what the trooper carrier ships are called. Just
Um
the most basic ones.
so there's like the Venators and then there's the Acclimators. The Venators have the two bridges like on top. Whereas like the Acclimator is more of a arrowhead and with a single like bridge tower.
Huh. What's the one you got on the shelf at the top left?
The top left. So that's actually from the Mandalorian.
Oh,
Oh,
is it?
you're
That's a
talking
different
about
one?
the LAAT. You're talking about the LAAT, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was for some reason thinking of their big capital ships, but no, you're talking
Oh
about the
no.
gunships.
The gunships, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the
Okay, yeah. No,
LATs,
that's
yeah.
the so it's the low altitude attack transport or something like that.
Yeah. Those things I just gotta say, I mean they're most super common, but they're pretty awesome. I like them.
Yeah. No, they're so sick. The LAATs were like one of my favorites as a kid, and then the
Yeah.
Clone Wars just makes me like them even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all this like cool fight stuff. I think Rex is captured right now. And then oh my gosh, yeah. So they get to the landing platform via the bug, right? I don't know if you know what the
Yeah,
bug
yeah,
name
that's right.
is. Do you know what type of bug that is? It's
No
crazy.
idea. No
Yeah, okay.
idea.
I mean, that's fair. Just the world that Star Wars is, the galaxy. There's so
It's
many
massive.
bugs to
There's
know.
so many
Yeah.
different planets. There's so many different beasts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
No.
crazy. Those little walker, things just shooting the platform to destroy it is kind of insane.
Yeah, the little spider walkers,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
dudes.
it's so funny looking. Little
Yeah,
eyeballs.
they're giant red eyes.
Yeah,
They're
and they got like,
deadly, dude. You
yeah,
might laugh at
they're
them, but then they're gonna kill you.
true, true. They just keep walking. I like their little yell as they fell too. They're like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's
But
funny. All the droids have different voices, and it's funny to us.
yeah, there's one droid that fell from. Oh, what was it? I think Ventress was pissed at it and just like threw it off because it was like, "Do you want me to tell Dooku about this or something?" And she's like,
Yeah,
"No," and then threw the guy off. He's like, "Oh my gosh!"
yeah.
Yeah,
Just fall into his death. Yeah, no, the battle droids, the B1 battle droids, are the funniest for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah, their
But
little shenanigans that they get up to is pretty good.
yeah,
And then,
it's awesome.
so I have it. I don't know. Rex ends up getting out because he's just crazy like that. Oh yeah, he's getting brought out of the temple or the monastery, and he's walking out with the droids, and then he like just grabs the weapon out from their hands and just turns the battle completely around into like a resistance. It's so good how
Yeah,
quick he
that's how
does it.
Rex does it. You know,
Yeah, it's pretty
he's the
awesome.
best. He's the best.
I thought that was cool. And then Obi-Wan just friggin' walking to catch up to Ventress is so good. It's such a power move. He's just
Oh yeah,
walking to catch up.
and she's
Uh,
like she's like, crap, I gotta get
Yeah.
ready.
And then Taylor, when I was watching with Taylor, he's just like, why is Obi-Wan such a Rizzler? Because
A
he's always just
Rizzler.
like, yeah, he's always walking up. He's like, how are you doing, my darling? To
It's funny,
Ventress.
like him and Ventress, like they kind of like almost flirt with each other in a way.
It's really
It's
weird.
weird. It's weird. You're
It's,
like, okay, all right,
yeah.
this is weird, but it's just Obi-Wan, it's just who he is.
Yeah. And which, I mean, it's a good fight scene. And then Obi-Wan ends up getting disarmed. And he's like, whoa, he didn't expect it. But then
Yeah,
she can't even like do anything about it. He still just grabs her wrists and then throws her back. It's like,
oh yeah, you're like,
Obi-Wan's just
oh,
crazy.
that's why he's a Jedi Master. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was pretty insane that Ventress fighting someone with no lightsabers can't even do the job, you know?
She can't finish the job. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as they're fighting, they learn, oh yeah, Anakin like flies by in that old junker, you know?
Oh
And
yeah,
then he's just
yeah.
like, oh, sorry, Rex, I can't help. And he's like, no problem. Mission comes first. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ah, dang, that's so cool.
Oh,
And then, yeah,
it's very cool.
Obi-Wan and Ventress, they like sense that, the Anakin left the system.
Oh yeah,
That I think that's pretty cool. Like force sensing things. I think that's pretty
yeah.
sick.
No, it's cool because like they're Jedi and stuff, but it's also like just that like further assertion like in the story, like being able to like put that in there and be like, oh, I know he left now. Like I know he's
Hmm.
gone. He made it safely, and she's like, crap, he made it, and things like
Yep.
that. So yeah,
And then she does what she does best and gets out of there.
yeah. It just makes the Force feel more real in a way
Right.
when you're able to include it in the story like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially, I mean, someone as powerful as Anakin is probably easy to sense too at that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that's an interesting thought though. Do you know how like direct it is, or is it like just a presence? Like they know they're in the system. They don't have pinpoint.
It's different. Like I mean, different people have different like strength in it. So like someone might be able to sense pinpoint where they are with total ease. Other people might need to meditate and focus. And then other
Mm,
people might just get a general feel of it. You might just like sense, oh no, there's like a strong force presence that has arrived here. Or like you might feel a wave throughout the galaxy or something.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's I think that's one of my favorite abilities from the Force so far. Just that it's so simple, but I just
Mm-hmm.
like it.
No, yeah, it's
Um,
awesome.
moving on, seeing the droids with the lightning staffs or lightning staves,
The
like
Magna Guards.
Magna Guards. That's what I was curious of what they were
Yeah.
called.
They're
They
they're
they're pretty intense.
they're the most advanced like battle droid. They're like personally ordered by Count Dooku and General Grievous. They're
Right,
hyper intelligent for droids, and they're like deadly. They're deadly.
right. Because so we see them, guarding Dooku, and when he's
Hmm.
talking to Jabba, but then we also see, um, I think they were flying the ships behind Anakin, right?
Exactly. They're
Right.
they're they can do it all. They can fly. They can dual Jedi. They can.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
They're
But then,
not to be messed with, but they're
yeah,
extremely expensive per unit. So that's why you don't see squads of them. You don't see like full battalions of Magna Guards. They
right.
could probably, if there was a battalion, they would clear a lot of enemies.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, Dooku's in front of Jabba with his guards, but then he like doubles. Dooku doubled down, saying that Jabba's son is dead. And I'm like, oh my
Right?
gosh. I mean, that's because Ventress said it, but still, I'm like, oh man, they
Yeah.
better be careful.
He's gonna be pissed with Ventress.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I when Ventress said that to Dooku in front of like Jabba, I was like, okay, that's pretty rough. I
Hmm.
don't think Dooku would appreciate that.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
it's all fighting for the trust of Jabba, because I mean he runs that territory in the Outer
oh,
Rim.
yeah, I thought that was a really cool like situation. You got like this mob boss who's trying to. He's a little bit bigger than that because he owns like this whole
Yeah.
freaking place. But these two different, you know, good side and bad side going for it. It's so interesting. I think
Yeah,
it's really cool.
he's playing both sides of the field a little bit, and he's trying to make profit, but also
Hmm.
like keep his own customer base and whatnot.
Yeah,
Keep that
and
spice flowing.
exactly. So then I think, oh yeah. So then what happens? Completely cuts to uh, Padme. We see Padme for the first time. That was
Yep.
pretty cool. Senator what Amidala is that her?
Senator Amidala of Naboo.
Nice. Yeah. So saw her for the first time. She talks a little bit with the chancellor, and
Yeah.
then heads down to this one bar, and we meet Zero the Hut.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Zero is an interesting character. I really like
Annoying, a very
really liked it.
annoying character. I can't
Yeah.
stand the voice of Zero, and this won't be the last time you see Zero. Sorry.
Oh jeez. I know it was so funny. So Padme like figures out this whole plot, to get Zero. Zero like caused all of this to get to the head of the Hut clan or whatever,
Yeah.
which is just insane that it goes even deeper. I just like that. That's like the
There's
story going
more.
deeper and deeper is better.
There's more layers, like
Yeah.
an onion,
like an ogre.
like an ogre.
Yeah. But I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
What do
then
you think of the Coruscant Guard?
Coruscant Guard.
So
I
they're the
can't
ones that with the white and red armor.
why
The
can't I think
clones.
of that? Oh yeah, yeah. I
Commander Fox is leading them.
right. I do remember they're pretty cool. They just came and just clutched it up for Padme
Yep.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I like Zero saying "run for it" and they just slide it across the ground.
Yeah. Could barely move.
Yeah. Oh man, that was really funny.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, and then we got so Tatooine, of course. Always
Yep.
love revisiting this planet, and
Hmm.
just the sand talks. That was so funny when they were Anakin, and Ahsoka, they were walking in the. Yeah, he was like, "What's there to talk about?" And then she's just like, "We could talk about sand."
He's
And I
like,
just,
don't even say
yeah,
it.
don't even mention that.
Don't
That
bring it
was-
up.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
totally.
what a cool planet though. So it's got 2 suns and 3 moons. Am I right? Or
Something like that, yeah. I mean, it was once like a very lush, like water world almost.
yeah,
And
reminds me of
got
Dune.
devastated. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing is like, uh, you know, they always talk about how like George Lucas stole from Dune and whatnot. Where I see it more as like inspiration.
Inspiration. Yeah,
Yeah. And Tatooine isn't like the equivalent to Dune or Arrakis or
not at
whatever it's
all.
called.
Yeah,
So yeah.
there's some
But
there's
no,
some
yeah.
big differences,
A
and
lot of
yeah,
people are
definitely.
like, oh, sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of people are kind of tired of Tatooine showing up so much, but it is like such a prominent planet, even though it is in the outer rim, even though it is like seemingly unimportant. It is like it's clearly got some connection to the wider galaxy.
Right. I mean, yeah, it has a lot of important people coming from it in there. You got
Yep.
Jabba, and then you got the chosen one. I mean,
Fucking
come
Anakin,
on,
yeah,
you
yeah,
got I mean, you got to be at the planet, um,
exactly.
so it definitely makes sense. But then you got them walking in the desert, right? And then he senses. She was like, Ahsoka's like, "What is that feeling?" And he's like, "That's Sith," or like that's
Mm,
the dark side or something. I
yeah,
thought that was pretty
cold.
sick.
And
Yeah.
Dooku shows up, epic duel.
Right. That duel is awesome. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I was like, all the budget went here. That was
yeah.
just a joke.
Here's where the
Uh,
fight is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love I gotta say it's Dooku, definitely one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really liked him in the movies, but also so far what I've seen
He
in
gets
this.
flushed out pretty well in the Clone Wars.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see. And then so yeah, Padme gets saved by what was that guard you called? The Coruscant guard?
Yep. Coruscant Guard.
Right.
red armor. They're the
Red
ones
armor,
with
yeah.
red armor.
Nice. So,
Yeah,
and then Padme gets saved and stuff. And then Ahsoka being able to take on, was it 3 of those droids?
I know. That just
Like,
shows her skill level. It's pretty awesome.
right. And she's like nearly dead at the end of it. She's like, oh my
I know.
gosh. But
Yeah.
that's just so cool. Yeah, that really showed the skill level. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Also showed her connection to the Force and whatnot.
Oh, right. Yeah. I thought that,
Being
yeah.
able to channel the Force to even fight them, you know.
Right. Because, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to imagine the energy that takes. Holy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so once they're done with that, they end up going inside. Oh, yeah. Anakin runs inside. Oh, yeah. That was interesting. So Anakin runs like right by her. She's like 50 feet away,
Yeah, I
a
know.
little more. But I'm like, wouldn't there be some sort of ping on the Force or something? Like,
It depends. Like, are you focused in the moment, or are you, you know, are you
yeah,
reaching out with the Force, or are you just kind of like
going.
locked
Yeah.
in? But yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I understand it, but I was like, dang it, why didn't he see it? But ran in and then almost gets killed by Java like instantly
Oh yeah, I
because
know.
all the freaking Sith mind games and stuff trying
Yeah. A
to
lot of games.
yeah. And I was curious with the Hutt family, are
Yeah.
they like intelligent, or I mean they got to be, right?
Yeah, they
Like the
are.
type of alien they are?
They're very intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuz I was interested, like Dooku is able to just play him up.
Yeah.
Like,
They're intelligent, but they obviously have their own manipulation and everything like that.
sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, Padme comes in clutch, comes in
Thank
and it's like,
goodness.
yo, yo, what's
It was
up?
zero. It was zero.
Yeah, like on the freaking money too. It was
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, there was some stupid, Padme and Anakin snickering when they were looking at each other. Oh,
Yeah, you're like,
jeez.
okay, all right, relax.
Are they married at that point?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because
Oh,
this is
okay.
after Attack of the Clones.
Jeez. Yeah,
Yeah.
freaking
They're married
cheesy.
in secret though. So yeah.
True. True.
So
But yeah.
how do you feel so far starting it? Do you feel like this is a good start?
Yeah, I think it was a great start, to be honest. I got, introduction with clones and stuff, their dynamics between, their generals,
Yeah.
Anakin and Obi-Wan. Those two, freaking love them, Obi-Wan and Anakin. I could not tell you which one I like better. They both have such good, character qualities. But
Exactly.
Ahsoka definitely's got to grow on me. But
Yeah. That's fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
that's totally fine. We got a lot of time. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I think the most out of the. It's hard. I liked it all together. I can't pick
Yeah.
whatever I like better.
The Battle of Christophsis arc kind of works all together for sure.
Yeah.
The movie wasn't necessarily very well received, but I think it works more being a part of the Clone Wars as a whole.
Oh yeah. I think it definitely because you get a lot more reasoning behind things and stuff. Just fleshing
Yeah.
it out helps a lot.
Awesome. Well, that was your first introduction. Next podcast, we will be discussing Clone Cadets Season 3, Episode 1, Supply Lines Season 3, Episode 3, and the premiere episode of the Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 1. I hope everybody joins us then. I hope you guys all enjoyed this podcast. Lokke, I hope you're excited to continue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I am.
Awesome. So make sure everybody that you join us then. But for now, report back to your wing commanders. That's where you say, and may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Adios.
Yeah.